Thank you all for attending what, speaking only for myself, but what I personally believe to be perhaps the highlight of the entire year, the day on which, if we so choose, we honor the very best of the best of the best among us. And that is certainly the case today. Beyond anyone's doubt or question, we are assembled to recognize one of the great Hoosiers of our time, or any time in the life of our state. You're going to hear a little more about that from, we could have chosen almost at random from the phone book of Fort Wayne, or from any list of business, civic, civil rights, education, conservation leaders in our state, and people could have jumped up on a moment's notice and told you what was tremendous about Ian Rolland. But on behalf of all of them, we've asked Sister Elise Chris, who knows as much as anyone, to come tell us a little bit about Ian Rolland and why we're here to honor him today.
Well, thank you very much, and this is really a great honor. I really had no idea I was the only tribute giver. So if I don't say something, if anybody else has other ideas, maybe you can share those too. Let me just, I want to give some tribute ideas and then just some comments about Ian and Mimi together. The University of St. Francis and the city of Fort Wayne and the entire Northeast Indiana region have been incredibly blessed with the presence, the leadership, and the involvement of Ian Rolland at every level. He brings wisdom, expertise, enthusiasm, and strong commitment to all that he does. During his long career at Lincoln National Corporation, he distinguished himself as an outstanding leader and rose to the position of CEO. Outside of the Lincoln, Ian has served on the boards of innumerable local, state, and national organizations, one of which is the University of St. Francis. For 36 years, Ian has provided leadership to the university, first as a director, then as a trustee, and I can tell you from firsthand that, like E.F. Hutton, when Ian Rolland speaks, people listen. Ian and his wife Mimi have also been a significant voice and have provided visionary leadership in important civic matters, such as school desegregation and the establishment of the East Wayne Street Center to serve inner-city children. They are also patrons of the arts, as indicated by the name of one of our facilities at the university, the Mimi and Ian Rolland Art and Visual Communications Center. So we join all of you in gratitude for Ian Rolland, and we are delighted that he is being recognized today. Not to miss any, but I noticed the junior achievement staff here. Ian served many, many years on the local junior achievement, which really serves a large part of northern Indiana. And there are probably any number of other organizations here, represented here today, that have benefited from Ian's expertise. So I don't want to miss any of those, but there are a lot more than even what I mentioned here. Well, I do want to take a few minutes, a second here or so. Besides tribute, Ian is a good roaster. He roasted me at an event in Fort Wayne and still laughs about it. He's probably sitting there with a big grin on his face, which he is. And it was a heck of a lot of fun, and I laughed till tears at some of the things that were said that evening. But just a little bit. I'm surprised to see Mimi here today. And the reason I say that is, a long time ago, before many other awards since, she told me, I don't want to go to any more of those award ceremonies. Get dressed up and go to any more of those. So thank you for being here, Mimi. And it did make me wonder, where Ian keeps all the awards he has earned. It's another big one. And I have no idea where they are, because Mimi's house is full of artwork, not Ian's awards, of course. So I think that someday we may be having to have the Ian Rolland Museum in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to house all those wonderful awards, all very well deserved. I know he has some from University of St. Francis and probably more to come, and same with every other organization that he's been engaged with. I have a few of my own, and I have trouble knowing what to do with them, but not near as many as what Ian has. So anyway, personally, I'd like to thank Ian and Mimi for your friendship to me personally and to the university, and for all that you've done. And I think anyone else here who has been associated with Ian and Mimi both would say the same thing. So thank you very much for your support. Thank you for the honor to be here this afternoon with you, Ian.
I want to talk a little about the award we're about to confer, and in so doing, pay my own very brief tribute to this much celebrated man. You know, I'm the reason we were a couple minutes late getting here. The Rollands are so much fun to visit with, and I can substantiate what the sister just said. Mimi said, you're lucky I'm here. I am tired of going and hearing people say nice things about my husband, but she said she thought this one was a little different. And I'm really grateful for that. We think it's different too. And let me explain a little bit about why. First of all, as to Ian and his indubitable fitness for this award, a friend of mine in my business days used to say, an actuary is someone who started in accounting and couldn't stand the excitement. Now, Ian Rolland belies that joke. This has been one exciting actuary, if you didn't think that was possible. Spectacular business career, and that's a very high form of service. We've honored people like Bill Cook, for instance, last year, whose service in part was related to the creation of opportunity and jobs and hope for other people. And that's a very noble calling, and Ian Rolland met it as well as anyone we've known. He's been a leader, a Hall of Fame member, for that matter, of environmental causes in our state and conservation causes in our state. No one more closely identified with this primary goal and priority of Indiana today. But he also took up causes perhaps more surprising to some, low-income housing, because he believed that to be a great community, to be a great home for the company he led, Fort Wayne would need to be a place where people of diverse incomes and backgrounds could live in proximity and live in comfort with each other. And in every way one can imagine, he's been a lion for educational improvement, from the youngest kids through our higher education system. There hasn't been a good cause, there hasn't been a reform movement in Indiana that Ian wasn't involved in somehow. He was a leader of a bold attempt at sweeping education reforms. If you look at those things that finally were achieved in 2011, Ian Rolland was for them 2 decades before. He was talking about freeing principals and teachers to teach. And he was talking about a wider array of choices for families at all income levels. The Sachem Award has a curious provenance, and it's written in part in your program. But suffice it to say that a few years ago, an opportunity presented itself to renew this term and recognition. And there was no particular requirement as to how we'd do that. And what such an award or such a society would connote in its second generation. And we chose with very great deliberation to honor a singular person at most once a year. Let me underline that. That person who uniquely personified both excellence in one or more professional capacities, but also virtue, moral character, moral excellence, to use some old-fashioned words that have fallen, I think, sadly and regrettably out of our parlance and sometimes out of our consciousness. Ian Rolland has achieved, as the sister just reminded us, excellence at everything he's ever attempted. No question in that regard. But the reason we are here today is because, in equal measure, he has led the sort of life that you would like your kid to emulate. He has constantly searched for the right thing to do and then done it. Sometimes at risk and perhaps cost to himself. Churchill said, of all the virtues, courage is the most important because it makes possible all the rest. Ian Rolland possesses and has demonstrated courage on many, many occasions, maybe never more plainly than in his fight for desegregation and full civil rights many, many years ago in his community. A good measure of moral courage is whether one takes positions, takes actions that might cost him a friend or cost him goodwill among people who would otherwise be his friend. I don't know, but I suspect that Ian experienced that, but he did what he thought was right anyway, saw it through, and made his community better for it. I said earlier that this award was designed to be given at most once a year. I believe that I've made one real mistake in the 7 years we've been doing this. I should have skipped at least 1 year. I meant to do it, just to underscore to my successors, who I hope will continue this practice, that if you can't find somebody of absolutely remarkable qualities, Hesburgh-like qualities, Wooden-like qualities, Erskine-like qualities, Rolland-like qualities, fine. Wait till you see one. This isn't meant to be handed out like candy. It isn't meant to be given at all, except to denote the very, very best among us in two dimensions. And it's not to be expected that very many such people will come along, that you'll bump into them every day or every year. And as this year approached, I have to say, it was that sort of weight on me. I thought, I should be making this. I should have made this point already. I should be making this point by just letting a year go by. And then I thought, no, wait a minute. We didn't get to Rolland yet. And I can't let my tenure expire without doing so. So I just want to say to you, Ian, on behalf of your friends, yes, but a state full of fortunate people who have benefited from your leadership, lived in your time, and we are so proud that you were one of us. We were so proud to say that Indiana now and then gives rise to someone of your character and your moral fiber. And I hope that many of our fellow citizens, and especially a lot of our younger citizens, will somehow catch wind of this event or things we say here, have a little look at your life, and decide there should look a little bit more like it. Thank you, Ian. Please come forward and accept your reward.
I was afraid you were all getting up ready to leave. This is terrific. It's hard to express the feelings you get in something like this, because as you're leading your life, it's hard to put it all together, and you do things that seem right to you, and it's kind of nice when it's getting near the end that you can look back and put it all together and say, well, you didn't do too bad. Sister Lise, I'm delighted that you came down today. She's right, I did roast her once. It was at a fundraiser where she was honored. Remember telling the story about Sister Lise being a takeover artist. She's good at taking over other schools, and I said that I figured Mike Wartell, who is the chancellor of Indiana Purdue in Fort Wayne, was in fear and trembling that she was going to come after him next. It's great to see you all here. There are so many different people and groups that I've had contact with during my life. My family is right down here in front. Why don't you all just stand up and let them see how many of you there are. It's a pretty good family, except I got one granddaughter who strayed from the fold and married a guy from Wabash. The good thing about it was his name is Ian, so that remedied a lot of problems. He did recognize I was going to do this, and my wife, I really feel honored that you came down here with me today. Some of the groups that are here, I've gotten involved with a group just recently, and you won't believe this, but it's called the Meatloafers. And at Henry's Bar in Fort Wayne, they have a special on Monday nights, a meatloaf special. So this is a group of people that started collecting at Henry's Bar, eating meatloaf, and they're here, and we're delighted you're here. And I can't help but mention Greg Zeller, the Attorney General. I know he's got an election coming up, and I've threatened not to vote for him because he talked me into taking the receivership of the Oakwood Park facility, and what I thought was a 2-3 month job has now been 2 years, and we're still counting, aren't we, Greg? And I got to thank the governor. We're delighted this honor came from you. That made it even more special. I first met the governor when he was executive director of the Hudson Institute, and I was on the board. And he's had a remarkable career and has served the state of Indiana in an admirable way during his lifetime. People ask me why I do what I do. Well, first of all, when I was with the Lincoln, I needed a job that paid. I have to feed the desires of my wife for more and more art. So I said to myself, if I ever get into a position where I can have an influence over what happens at that company, I'm going to make sure that we at the Lincoln make a difference. And not only a difference in terms of the quality of our business activities and how we treat our customers and employees and shareholders and so forth, that it was important for us to serve those constituencies in an exemplary way. And we tried to do that over the years, but at the same time contribute to the communities where we did business, and at times contribute in ways that were controversial, because I don't think it's enough simply to support more traditional activities, although that's important. But every once in a while you got to pick an issue that maybe is not too popular, but is meaningful and significant, and pursue that with the resources that we had. And so that motivated me to probably get the Lincoln involved in more things than a lot. My friend Jack Hunter is out here, was general counsel. He probably sweated a little bit over some of the things we did. But I've always thought that all of us have a responsibility to leave the places that we live in a better way because we were there. And that's a responsibility of citizenship, and it's a responsibility of just your humanity, that you take a lot out of this world, and I certainly have. I've had lots of opportunities that you put something back for what you, to compensate and hopefully make the world a better place. And if I've done that, then I'm pleased. And this honor today, especially given the other people who have received this honor. I mean, if somebody told me I could be in the same category with Father Hesburgh or Bill Cook or John Wooden, those people are really exceptional people, and I am extremely proud to be part of that group. So again, thanks much for coming. I see my friends from the Nature Conservancy back here, Mary and Betsy, and some of my friends from Oakwood Park are here. Roger Linesetter, who's my eyes and ears on the ground at Oakwood, and that's hazardous pay he gets. The people that I have run with over the years and are responsible for my horrible knees, so that now I can't run, but I walk with them, and I learn a lot more by walking because I can hear what they're saying. And to the rest of you who came, Lenny Arian over here from Junior Achievement, the Junior Achievement chapter in Northern Indiana is hands down the best in the country, and I have no doubt about that claim. They are terrific, and I've enjoyed being part of it. And who can imagine I'd be 35 years at St. Francis, and I'm not even a Catholic. So again, thanks for coming. I got to say my friends Jack and Carol Lehman came all the way from, they're on their way to Fort Wayne from Las Vegas, or from Palm Desert, California. And Jack and I officed together, and along with Janet Schran, Sherry Miller over here. Janet and Sherry kind of bring a bit of organization and class to our operation. The goal of our business is to do as little business as possible. So again, thanks to all of you for coming. It's a great occasion. It's an award that I'm sure my teachers at Northside High School, if they could look back and say, this guy standing up here giving this talk today, they'd say that had to be somebody different. But it's been great, and I appreciate your coming, and hopefully we've still got some time to do some more good. Thanks much.
Yes, thank you all for being with us. Those who are joining us for a little lunch in Ian's honor, it's that way in our office. Thank you one and all for being here at Honor. Truly one of the great Hoosiers we've ever known. Thanks a lot.